cultivated a Canada which is unique. And it's because of Raphaelita, it's because of Bramley Armstrong. Anybody know those people? It's because of Dudley Laws, Alvin Curling, and the names go on and on and on. I'm advocating that this blank wall, we need to fill this blank wall with our heroes and our heroines. So that when our kids walk in here, they must have a reason to be proud. They must know the roots from whence they came. Empowerment mustn't come from a foreign source, but rather from their father's loins and their mother's womb. And it is these people who created what we've got. And what have we got? We've got, in Canada, one of the greatest countries in the world. Make no mistake. Am I right? Yes. You're weak. Am I right?
Yes.
And we want to make this country greater. And that was your genesis. And so, as we go through Exodus and so on, forgive me if I don't know all the books, but travel them with me. And as we go through the books in trying to achieve that, there's new blood. That new blood comes from your seed. And that new blood must be released to circulate in this community and to deliver. What are those? How are those people represented? They are your children. They must take the baton, stand on the foundation you have laid, and build, chart new courses. They know the courses. They know the way to do it. Just give an 8-year-old a phone. He'll show you how to do stuff. He'll reach his brothers and sisters in Africa, in Alaska, in Vancouver, but release him. Breed him, her, cultivate them, teach them, and release them. Because they must define what the rest of Canada will become. Am I right?
Yes.
And so I stand here today very humble before you, as I did on another occasion, because you have grown so tremendously in the 20 years since we were last together. And my 3 minutes have expired. And I'm sorry. I apologize for going 3 minutes and 2 seconds. But I have to tell you that I love you. You are absolutely fantastic Jamaican human beings. I love you. And I'd love to see you continue to lay those foundations you've done and to create the mosaic that we have seen in this country. You know, there is people here from the police. There are people here from the correctional services. There are people here representing, for example, the Vice Chair of the Toronto Police Black Consultative Committee is here. I mean, Yvette Blackburn is sitting in the room. I see her somewhere. We've got Rastafarians in the room as part of our rich community and culture. Let us be proud and continue to be proud and strong and forge ahead. This discussion must be underlined by a fundamental and profound respect for those who have laid the foundation already, black, white, pink, blue, and orange, the full rainbow, and they are here tonight. And I'm telling you that Canada is ready. Canada is listening. And you are making a valuable contribution, and this is part of it. Thank you very much for including me in this dialogue. I hope I can stay with you, stay the journey. It's not a long and hard one, but you're achieving. Trust me. And the rest of the world is watching. You are creating new frontiers, every single Canadian. And every time you take citizenship, you help to carve out a new space for your children. Every time when you say something, somebody has to listen, because that vote will count. Obama said, we can, I can. And guess what made him do it? People like you. Because he went back into the migrant communities, and he looked, and he recruited, and he got them, and they got him there. So we can get there. We can get the Alvins of this world there, and we can get him all the way to sit at the very pinnacle of Canada. And as Barry stands behind me, and I know I'm reminded that I'm gone. beside me, and I've gone 6 or 7 or 8 minutes. But I have one little bit of chance to talk to you, and I so crave the opportunity. I beg your pardon and your indulgence for having taken so much time, but it's because you're such a wonderful audience. Thank you.
We have a silver town council general. Take note of that. Boy, you can chat sweet. And for those of you who didn't understand that, oh, he speaks so very well. Thank you. Chris, is it still you?
Good evening. Give yourself a round of applause to be here this evening. Come on, give yourself a round of applause. Good. And I want you to do a favor before you do anything else. Just reach over to the person you're sitting beside and say, "Boy, I'm in way tired, but what are we here look nice." All right.
Even though you're tired, you're still looking good.
It's good to see you. And I knew we had a date, but because of the traffic, I was late. So I do apologize. But anyway, we want to get things rolling. So please welcome right now for a brief commentary on the mission and the January 7th Town Hall Meeting, Mr. Kingsley Gillian. Give him a round of applause, please.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I intended to speak very briefly because we intended to pass out the minutes from our previous meeting, which was on January 7th. Unfortunately, we didn't get to make the copies, and so you won't have that. So what I'll do, I'll tell you briefly what happened.
I have a few. I
don't have enough to give everybody. Oh, okay. However, in a nutshell, what happened, the 3 organizations came together to try to initiate a conversation regarding the issues facing our community. And those organizations are the Jamaican Canadian Association, whose building we occupy at this moment, the Black Action Defense Committee, founded by the late Dudley Laws and Charles Roach, and the Jamaican Diaspora Canada Foundation. And so we invited all organizations from that represent Black people in Canada, and all the organizations that represent Caribbean peoples, and we invited some that we had contact with that represent African peoples, people who are directly from the first generation African diaspora. And so that meeting we had a representation of all those. And the 3 presidents addressed the group, telling about their vision and why we initiated this action. We also were blessed with the company of Dr. Munyanzwe Hamalinga from Zambia. He's a Doctor of Laws attorney, and he is handling a number of class action lawsuits for Black Action Defense Committee against Toronto Police, Peel Police, Durham Police, and against the Federal Correctional Services and the minister responsible for that service. And so he gave a brief address updating people on what's the status of all of those lawsuits. Then we had Dr. Akua Benjamin, professor of social work at Ryerson University. Akua is from Trinidad, and so she talked about the issue of overrepresented. Well, she talked about the road we have traveled, the contributions that our community has made over years, the work of many people in the community, and laying the foundation that many of us enjoy today and take for granted. And then she talked about the situation involving black children, the number of black children that are being taken away from their parents into foster care, and which represents a substantial portion of all kids in care, some 47%. And so she called for a black-run social service agency that can deal with those kind of family issues and child protection issues, because we know that a number of them that are in care would not have been there had there been cultural sensitivity to the cultural heritage of the family from which we are taken.